This week from Al-Musawat Radio. Al-Musawat Radio is the right place to know everything. This is the weekly news coverage coming our way with This Week from Al-Musawat radio station. Stay tuned. And the beginning goes with Iraqi women's enrollment in military. Riham Yaqub was assassinated on August 19th at the age of 30 when a masked gunman on a motorcycle shot her dead as she was inside her car in Basra province, southern Iraq. Yaqub was a feminist since 2018 and led many women's rallies, the matter which exposed her to threat and incitement campaigns. Those ended up with her assassination. Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi participation in the five-party summit held in Egypt has aroused many questions concerning how beneficial it would be to the country, particularly as Iraq had previously participated in many summits. Those achieved nothing until now. This participation is also criticized as the current government is a caretaker government, which is not entitled to conclude agreements. The Iraqi Supreme Judicial Council decided to suspend its work, the courts affiliated with it, and the federal court. On his part, the assistant of al-Sadr, Saleh Muhammad al-Iraqi, called on the demonstrators to withdraw from the building of the Supreme Judicial Council and keep the tent. It's worth to mention that the Iraqi Supreme Judicial Council earlier decided to suspend its work in the wake of the protests led by al-Sadr Front supporters in front of its building, when it said in a statement that the Iraqi Supreme Judicial Council describes these protests as unconstitutional and unlawful, holding the government and the political party which is behind the sit-in legally accountable. Parliamentary State of Law bloc confirmed that the events causes in the country do not augur well. On his part, Parliamentary State of Law bloc Member of Parliament Jawad Al-Ghazali said that the political process future doesn't augur well, as the political parties don't reconsider their views, attitudes, and considerations. Thus, the political deadlock is still dominating when the country is driven into the unknown, the matter which negatively reflects on the service's reality. Civil Defense Directorate announces a fire broke out in markets and stores in Aden Square, central Baghdad. The Directorate said that Civil Defense Corps rushed to the fireplace, which broke out inside Al-Najjar markets and second-floor stores in Aden Square, central Baghdad. Member of Parliamentary Integrity Committee Ahmed Al-Rubai confirmed that the food security law results haven't paid off yet, pointing out that many suspicious items were passed. There have been complaints received by Diyala province residents and specialized that snakes and scorpions bites across the province's villages and groves have increased, whilst the competent authorities replied that they don't fight environmentally friendly animals. A medical source said that Diyala hospitals record the average of 100 snake and scorpion bites a month throughout the current summer months. However, All cases are immediately treated as medications and vaccines are all available. The source also said that all snakes and scorpions bites incidents are concentrated in the areas outside the urban cities, close to groves and agricultural lands, due to drought and rising temperatures, which is the season when snakes and scorpions come out of their hibernation burrows. On their part, Al-Muqdadiyya town people demanded the agricultural and medical authorities to provide pesticides and vaccines to address the danger of snakes and scorpions bites and prevent them from entering homes and causing traffic incidents that affect children, women, and old people. Over 70,000 people of southern Al-Muthanna province have been suffering from breaks in the drinking water supply for almost a whole month, due to the stoppage of drinking water stations installed on Al-Suwa River, which is severely affected by drought, due to the sharp decrease of Euphrates River water rations, which feeds Al-Suwa River. An Iraqi ecology expert confirmed that the maladministration of water resources and the scarcity of Turkey's water releases that marshes in the Qar and Maysan provinces are experiencing is catastrophic, noting that this drought crisis is disastrous and it's the worst ever experienced since many years. Basra is considered as Iraq's economic basket and the most important source of oil export revenues, yet the province people find no one to keep their rights, amid sharp aggravation of crises at all levels and the current government's silence. When many competent authorities and Basra parliament members have long been warning of environmental disaster represented by the high levels of water contamination amid absence of effective solutions. The Civil Defense Directorate announces that its rescue teams managed to recover the bodies of 2 women and a man from the site of Qattara in Karbala province, noting that the incident's death toll has risen to 7 and a final body is expected to be trapped under the rubble. The Directorate also clarified that its rescue team's work is continuing until the site is clear of any bodies or injuries. Parliamentary Foreign Relations Committee has linked the work of Waters and Borders file to the resumption of the disrupted Council of Representatives. A Parliamentary Foreign Relations Committee member said that the Council of Representatives work has mainly stopped, of which our committee is one of its committees, when there are personal activities of Parliament members stemming from a sense of responsibility, yet the Council is still disrupted and besieged, when personal follows-up could do nothing concerning such important files like Waters and Borders life. Nineveh Member of Parliament Taif Al-Najjar has questioned how Nineveh Health Directorate Director is still in post with full powers when a resignation order was issued against him 2 months ago that stipulates his resignation and the appointment of an alternative or the designation of his assistant. Al-Shammari called on the Prime Minister and Minister of Health to designate his assistant for the time being, or appointing an alternative due to suspicions of corruption and waste of public funds that led to poor medical services in the province. Iraqi people have been suffering from power shortage for almost 20 years due to insufficient governmental measures in addressing this crisis. This chronic and disastrous crisis has long been affecting the Iraqi people's everyday life, yet no solutions are reached to solve its repercussions. However, the Iraqi government resorted to the neighboring countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey to address this crisis and meet the power needs of the country. In spite of all parliamentary and economic warnings and alerts for the current government not to resort to the connection with Saudi Arabia, yet Al-Kadhimi ignored all those warnings and alerts and went through the completion of the connection with Saudi Arabia. Ministry of Electricity determined the power shortage reasons, calling for the increase of military efforts to protect power pylons. The ministry's spokesperson said that there is a considerable improvement and tangible increase in power supply hours to the citizens. However, several areas experienced technical failures that result in power shortage, noting that they soon will be treated. A medical source in the Qar province reported new COVID-19 cases recorded in the province, noting that the PCR tests recorded 22 confirmed cases, illustrating that the patients are quarantined with all necessary needs and medicines provided until they fully recover. World Bank has set the end of the next year 2023 as a deadline for the application of electronic governance at all the state's institutions. On his part, member of United Nations Convention Against Corruption Coalition, Mohammed Rahim al-Rubai, said in a statement that the World Bank finances governance processes. These must be applied by all states' institutions, particularly those of public interest, including Ministry of Oil and Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Education set August 22nd a date for testing students applying for Distinguished Students Schools and Baghdad College Intermediate Schools for the academic year 2022-2023. A water festival was held at Russian River in Rakan Valley of Kurdistan region. The festival included various water sports such as swimming, diving, jumping, and small boats race. Festival supervisor said that it's the first of its kind and it aims at attracting tourists from all over the country, noting that over 80 youths took part in the festival. It's worth to mention that Rakan Valley, northern Duhok province, was one of the forbidden touristic areas due to its deteriorated security situation because of the armed conflict between Turkey and Kurdistan Workers' Party. A video circulated in both Kirkuk and Nineveh provinces showed the start of two dust storms in the provinces, hitting several areas of the two provinces. The rising prices of medicines in Iraq is leaving many unable to afford what used to be provided free of charge, as mafia-style networks with links to influential political players control the import, distribution, and pricing of medicines are the main reasons, besides smuggling medicines which multi-doubled most of medicines prices. Let alone that medicines prices saw a sharp increase due to the dollar's rising exchange rate and the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result, scores of deaths are being recorded in hospitals across the country, as critically ill patients are unable to afford the medicines they need and have been forced to seek on the black market. A security source in Al-Najjar province reported a corpse of a mentally unstable woman found in the province by a security force, attributing the death reason to the rising temperatures and hunger she suffered from during the last days. The source also reported another security force succeeded to free a woman who was locked by her son in the province, noting that the police arrested the offender and confiscated his weapon. Erbil Police Directorate announces the arrest of an indictee accused of kidnapping a girl of Al-Sulaymania province. The girl which was kidnapped is reportedly raped by the kidnapper. On his part, Erbil Police Directorate spokesman said that the directorate arrested a 31-year-old person who kidnapped a 20-year-old girl, noting that the arrest came in accordance with an arrest warrant, illustrating that the directorate reserved the girl's identity and then handed her over to her relatives. The end of this week's news coverage. Join us next week. Until then, please accept the best regards from your host right here behind the mic, Taif Al-Najjar, and from the producer right there behind the mixer, Mayar Amer. So, have a nice day and goodbye. This week from Al-Musawat Radio. Al-Musawat Radio is the right place to know everything.